Now, yesterday, President Trump, in his statement about Charlottesville, blamed what he called the alt-left for the violence. He said, "What about the alt-left that came charging at me, as you say, the alt-right? Did they have any semblance of guilt? There was blame on both sides. I have no doubt about it." Alt-left, alt-left. Now, where have we heard the term alt-left before? Oh, right. Before Donald Trump hijacked it, there's a group of centrist establishment Democrats that were using it to equate progressives with the alt-right and white supremacists. Now, let me give you some examples of those smears. Now, here you have Neera Tanden, who's on this lovely picture. She is the president of the Center for American Progress. Now, she tweeted back in February, "I remember last summer when I pointed out Russia's role in leaking the elections, and the elections, and the alt-left attacked me for McCarthyism. Hashtag backwards." So back in February, she was using the phrase alt-left. Now, here you have the Nation's Joan Walsh. She said, "Hillary Clinton made it a brighter place, but that wasn't valued, even on much of the American left, especially the alt-left." And of course, a lot of these have links to other stories. Now you have Tom Watson, founder of CauseWired, a consulting firm that allegedly helps organizations inspire people to support causes that change the world, tweeting out, "Skeptics, when 2020 women start triggering the alt-left, as is about to happen, you'll finally have your proof on gender," and 2016. And of course, I can only assume that he was talking about progressives' reluctance to support Kamala Harris. Well, Kamala Harris doesn't have an established progressive record. She looks like she's getting ready to support or to get a lot of support from Wall Street and giant corporate donors. And also, she failed to prosecute Steven Mnuchin for his role in One West Bank, which had a huge hand in foreclosures in California, on and on. So she's got a bit of a spotty record at best. So, yeah, we're a little skeptical about Kamala Harris based on her record. But, of course, Tom Watson says, no, it's all about sexism. You guys are sexist Bernie bros on the alt-left who just hate women and don't want to give women a chance. Oh, how about we give a chance to somebody who actually has a tried and true progressive record fighting for the policies that are popular with most of the American people, like Medicare for all, for example. And who also in polling matchups beats Donald Trump by double digits, whereas Kamala Harris, or at least right now, in polling matchups against Donald Trump, and I realize that it's early, only wins by about a point. Now that might increase, and it probably will increase, but nonetheless, Kamala Harris isn't the most popular politician in the country, and isn't supported by 80% of registered Democrats. It would make sense to go with somebody who has a better chance of winning. And look, if you followed the DNC logic like they did the last election in 2016, well, the person who lost last time, the primary, which was Hillary Clinton, should be their turn in the next election. I thought that's how we were running things. I mean, even though, yes, I was against that, but look, you weren't in the establishment. So by your own rules, Bernie Sanders should be up next, not Kamala Harris. But of course, no, Bernie Sanders is a member of the alt-left. Another one from Tom Watson. He says, the marginalization of the mean and clueless alt-left and their dawning realization of it is a small upside of our national predicament. And that was tweeted on November 14th of 2016. That was, of course, not long after Donald Trump won. So it's like, oh, yeah, you're marginalizing the alt-left because Trump won. Well, at least that's the good part of Trump winning, right? Now, those guys aren't the only one. I've got more. Here's one from Joyanne Reed. Now, Joyanne Reed is the host of MSNBC's AM Joy. She just simply put, as a response to someone else, alt-left. Well done. Perfect descriptor. And, of course, since then, she's tweeted a lot about the so-called alt-left. Now, we go from MSNBC's Morning Joy to Eric Boehlert of Media Matters. Now, Boehlert tweets, AKA when the far right and far left converge on messaging. Equating again the alt-right with progressives. He also tweeted, prediction by 2020, far left will be openly denouncing Obama as loudly as they denounced Bill Clinton last year. I noticed a lot of people on the left kind of miss Barack Obama. Just saying. And compared to the train wreck that we have now, it'd be a better option. Now, you also have not just tweets, but you have articles that were written against the so-called alt-left. Now, this is James Walcott writing in Vanity Fair. Now, Vanity Fair has actually had some really good articles, but this one, not so good. He writes, disillusionment with Obama's presidency, loathing of Hillary Clinton, disgust with identity politics, and a craving for climactic reckoning that will clear the stage for a bold tomorrow have created a kinship between the alt-right and an alt-left. They're not kissing cousins, but they caterwaul some of the same tunes in different keys. Again, there is nothing similar about the alt-right and the alt-left. Because there is no alt-left. For one, there's nothing similar with progressives and the alt-right. We are not the same. The progressives, we actually want things like Medicare for all, an end to racism. We actually want equality in the workplace and equality on the streets. The end of the racial profiling, racist policies. The end of the prison pipeline, the school to prison pipeline, gone. We don't want that. That's not stuff that the alt-right is looking for. The alt-right is like, white supremacy is awesome. We are not the same. The progressives are not the same. Anybody who thinks that is gravely mistaken and is actually looking to smear progressives because it gets in the way of their own ideology. And a good example of this, of course, is Marcos Melitsos. Now, Marcos Melitsos says and he had some recent tweets about Charlottesville, about the violence in Charlottesville. And this is disturbing. He said, many on the left wanted this. He also said, anyone pretending last year's election was about economic anxiety anymore? I mean, outside of the alt-left, that is. This guy, man, saying, oh, the left wanted the violence in Charlottesville because they were working with the alt-right and because they're the same. They're not the same. They're not the same. And again, Marcos is pushing a big fucking fat smear. Now, again, they're talking about the the so-called alt-left. But is there really? Is this a real thing? Well, they actually talked to experts about this. Researchers who study extremist groups in the United States said that there is no such thing as the alt-left. Mark Pikovich, an analyst at the Anti-Defamation League, said the word had been made up to create a false equivalence between the far right and, quote, anything vaguely left-seeming that they didn't like. Who's they? That would be the establishment. All those people that I quoted using that term, that's who came up with it. That's who's trying to create this false equivalence between the right and the left. Now, he also said that it did not rise organically. It refers to no actual group or movement or network, Mr. Pitkovich said in an email. It's just a made-up epithet, similar to certain people calling any news they don't like fake news. Boom. Right there. All of this is an example of how the centrist establishment Democrats have been smearing the left, equating them with both racist and neo-Nazis, which makes absolutely no sense. How can the most liberal people be comparable to Nazis? One side wants racial and economic justice. The other side wants to murder blacks and Jews. That is not the same. One side wants health care for everyone. The other side wants all immigrants and all people who are not white to get kicked out of the country. That is not the same. I think it should be fairly obvious and clear to everyone that they are not the same. And that this is a smear. This is nothing more than, it's nothing more than an organized smear from the centrists to progressives. And it's fucking disgusting. But they did it. They smeared progressives and wanted to lump them into this group of actual hateful people. And now here comes Donald Trump He's taken the smear and he has took it global. Nice work, Neera Tanden. Nice work, Joan Walsh. Appreciate it. You guys are the ones, among many, Joanne Reed, you're the ones to blame for this awful and ridiculous smear because you don't like it when people try to challenge the economic establishment. They actually want to fight for real progressive values. You can't handle that. So you have to take the worst smears out of the book and throw them at progressives. That's what you're about. And by smearing progressives with this, you just helped Trump defend neo-Nazis with a phrase that you coined, a phrase that you made up. And you perpetrated against the very people who are out there on the front lines pushing back against this sort of extremist right-wing ideology. People like Heather Heyer. You know, the woman who was murdered by a white supremacist. She was literally run over by a Nazi. She was one of the people that you smeared. She was a Bernie Sanders supporter. If she were alive, you would have called her a member of the alt-left. I hope that realization and the fact that you unwittingly helped Trump to give cover to white supremacists by coining a term that smeared the most progressive, most social justice-minded people eats away at you day by day. If you have any ounce of decency in you, any of you, you will denounce your use of the word alt-left. You will denounce the smear against progressives and apologize for lumping them into the hateful, bigoted alt-right movement. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.